and welcome to the wonderful world of writing. I'm Laura Cotton, personal writing coach, and this is part 2 of the secret to successfully beginning your novel or screenplay. Now, last episode I revealed that the secret to successfully beginning your novel or screenplay was pre-writing. And last episode I talked about pre-writing in terms of plot. But this episode, I'm going to talk about pre-writing in terms of character. Now, there are a lot of varying opinions out there about the best way to create a character. Some writing coaches recommend that you create what is called a character profile. And a character profile is simply a list of questions that you answer about your character. And these questions could be anything from what color is your character's hair, to what color are your character's eyes, etc. But the problem with these profiles is that they can cause some writers to focus on insignificant aspects of their characters. As a result, you may never discover the story that you are meant to tell. The 4 pre-writing techniques that I am going to share with you today are what I have found to be most successful to myself and my writing clients. These techniques will enable you to focus on the significant aspects of your character so that you can successfully begin your novel or screenplay. So the first technique I wanted to share with you today is how to create a character arc. Your main character should grow and evolve through your story, learning from his or her mistakes. And a character arc is a writing term, and what it means is that the characteristics that your character has at the beginning of the story are going to be different than those that he or she has at the end. This is an example that I created. Now, on this example, you will note that I wrote 3 characteristics on one side and 3 opposite characteristics on the other side. So the 3 characteristics I chose were a liar, a flirt, and a workaholic. Then on the other side, I wrote the opposite: a truth teller, a faithful husband, and a family man. So basically, at the beginning of my story, I'm going to have the 3 characteristics on the one side, and at the end of the story, my character will have the 3 characteristics on the other side. So basically, I'm setting it up for myself that I know that my character is going to go through a transformation. And then my goal is to figure out, well, what is the story that I'm going to tell that is going to take my character from being a liar to being a truth teller, or whatever the case may be. So that is how you create a character arc. The next pre-writing technique that I want to talk to you about today is really, really fun. This is how to create a fictional news article for your character. And how I recommend you do this is you think about what is your character's main goal or motivation in your story. So maybe you have a character who wants to achieve a perfect score on her SAT. So you could write a news article about your character actually achieving this goal. Or you could write a story about the opposite happening, which would be maybe your character is found cheating on the SAT. Or maybe you have a character who wants to plan the perfect wedding, and that's really important to her. So you could write an article about her having the perfect wedding. Or you could write an article about the opposite of that happening, which would be maybe she's left at the altar. So the news article is a really fun way to get your character talking and to also think about who your character's friends and family members are. So I strongly recommend that technique. The third technique is to create a biography or an autobiography for your character. And you can do this any way that you like. You can choose one period of time in your character's life, like their teenage years, or you could choose to do, their entire life. It's really up to you. And the length is all up to you as well. You could choose to write several paragraphs, or you could choose to write several pages. Personally, I like to do my character biographies or autobiographies in the forms of letters or emails because I think that's a really great way to give your character a motivation for writing their autobiography. You could also consider making a kind of mock Facebook page or profile online for your character, because that will make you think about your character in terms of being a real person. So that is the character autobiography or biography. The last technique I wanted to talk to you about is how to create a character collage. Now, I love collages. My mom will tell you, ever since I was little, I have enjoyed cutting things out of magazines and pasting them on paper. And the character collage is one of my favorites that I use in my writing, but there are several others that I'm going to talk to you about through these episodes. And creating a character collage can be a very simple process or a very intricate one. You can choose to write things on your collage, or you can choose not to. The one I brought in to show you is a character collage that I created with literal images. Now, what I mean by that is these images are things I'm actually thinking of including in my story. But you do not necessarily have to create a character collage with literal images. You could choose to have symbolic images. What I mean by that is you could have a picture of a church if your character is confused about her spirituality. Or you could have a picture of a house if your character is continually searching for her place in the world. So whether you choose symbolic images or literal images, it's really up to you. But if you choose symbolic images, make sure you write something underneath the images so that you remember why you chose them. So today we went over 4 different pre-writing techniques that have to do with character. The first being a character arc, the second being a news article, the third being a biography, and the fourth being a character collage. So your assignment this week is to choose one of these 4 pre-writing techniques and to try it out for your own character. Have fun with this and experiment. Keep in mind that your character may change when you actually start writing. I hope you enjoyed watching this program today. Please visit my website at laurawriter.com and let me know how this assignment went for you. Also, please let me know if you have any ideas for future episodes. I would love to hear from you. And remember, there is no wrong way to write.